And we are live.
Hi. Um, well, for all those watching and everyone watching in the future, welcome to Golf Evenings and Weekends Platoon. This is Co-Platoon. This is our graduations, our final presentations for Golf Evenings and Weekends. Thank you everyone who's attending, everyone who's presenting today. Um, my name is Jordan. I'm one of the four Evenings and Weekends instructors for the Evenings and Weekends program. Um, I'd like to go ahead and take this time to thank our entire team, because there's a lot of people back, behind just the instructors, giving us the support we need to get students through this program. I want to thank the mentors, the teaching assistants, board members, everyone who's worked so hard behind the scenes to kind of make this cohort and this program a success. I'd also like to thank our dedicated volunteer resume coaches, our guest speakers. We've had a few really great ones, all for giving presentations for Golf Evenings and Weekends. It's the support of volunteers like this that can really provide the real world industry learnings and experiences for our graduates, which I think, gives a lot of value to this program. For those of you who are not familiar with Co-Platoon, we're a nonprofit coding boot camp with a mission to help veterans, active duty service members, military families, etc., launch successful careers as software engineers. The graduates you see before you today have just completed an intense 28-week program every day, certain days of the week. Lost my spot. Every day they've written software and learned new computer science, software engineering concepts and skills. The group projects you see today are a amalgamation of everything that they've learned. And that's what we're going to go through real quick. So let me just show you. These are our three groups, our three apps we got built for y'all. If you have questions as we go through them, feel free to ask them on the live stream, and we'll get to them at the end. So, without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to pass it over to our first group, Happy Hikers, and Jonathan is presenting. So let me stop sharing. Jonathan, take it away.
Evening, everybody. Let me spool this up. And then I gotta find the fancy audio. Share computer stuff. All right. It's big. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our presentation today. We will be presenting our Happy Hiker application for our Platoon final group project. So today's agenda will start with an introduction of our project members, and then we will talk about our project scope and goals, our toolkit, the third-party APIs that we used, and some of the challenges we faced and the future project goals. Our group members are Daryl, Jonathan, Justin, Kim, and me, Gizem. So our application name, it's Happy Hiker. It's a fitness outdoor application. Our target audience are people who like to hike. And this application lets people incorporate fitness and hiking into their experience, and also incorporate some meditation while doing that. And we are hoping to provide a better hiking experience and better self-being for our users. The toolkits that we used for our application on the backend are Django, Python, PostgreSQL, Docker, and Amazon S3. And on the front end, we used React, JavaScript, and AWS for deployment. The third-party APIs are Routes API, Material UI, Mapbox, and Auth0 for authentication. And now I will hand it to Kim for a demo on our application.
Thank you, Gizem. So this is what our application looks like. And we used, for authentication, we used Auth0 for a secure and easy way for our users to sign in. Jonathan, if you want to go ahead and log in, and you'll have the option to either sign up if you don't have an account and just enter an email address and a password. And Auth0 at this point will have a secure token that they send to the back end of our code, and then we can add them to our database if they're not already there. It's pretty simple. And then if you want to demonstrate logging out and logging back in, it's pretty simple that you can use Google if you have a Google account. You don't have to worry about entering your email and password. So that is our authentication, and I will pass this over to Jonathan.
One of the features I worked on is the mindfulness of while you're hiking. It reminds you to stop and breathe and experience what's going on with your body and everything going on around you. We have an audio player that's wrapped around the whole app so that you don't have to have our drawer open and you'll still get your audio cues. Now, the way that it works is you have your 30-second, 1 minute, and 2 minute delays. A message will play as soon as you click on one, and it'll stop if you select it again. So, for example, 30 seconds.
Touch the earth, pick up a rock, feel the soil, or let water run through your fingers.
As you can see, that was the 30-second message. If I click on one,
Notice
and if I click it again, it stops. One of the challenges I had was during building the app, we were holding it on S3 in a bucket, and I was getting core issues where sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. So in our code, what I ended up doing was download it and put it into local storage. And then that way there was no cores issue. It's instant play. We only did that because we knew we weren't going to change the script. It's only about 30 lines. But if this was like a real production, we'd find a way to reference it in our backend. And that way we're not bogging down browser or phone performance when you want your audio. With that being said, I'm going to pass it on to Daryl, who's going to talk about the maps.
Thank you, Jonathan. Excuse me. So one of the other features that our application offers is gives users the ability to find trails based on the national park that they're in. We chose to use Yosemite National Park. So one of the features of our maps is you can filter out different trail endpoints based on dog friendly, difficulty level, and then we have our favorites list. So if we go ahead and click the difficulty level, it'll give us different endpoints. And so in order to create a route, we first have to select a starting point. So we go and click a tile, and then also an endpoint. And so we'll go click a different tile. As you can see at the top, we have the starting point and the endpoint populated. And then once those are populated, we can create or click start. And then once we click start, it should give us a trail. So once that trail is routed and we decide, hey, we like this trail, we can add it to our favorites list. And we can do that by clicking the add to favorites. Once that's clicked, it should be added to our favorites list. And so if we click that favorites button, it'll give us a list of our favorite trails. If we want to make an edit to one of our trails, we can just go ahead and click that pencil icon, and we can change one of either the endpoint or either of the endpoints. We change it to a different trail, and once we make that edit, it should give us a different route. So I'm going to click it. It should give us another route. And also, for example, if we no longer want this as part of our favorites list, we can go ahead and click that trash can icon and remove it. As you can see, it's no longer in our favorites list. So the technical implementation for this feature was a combination of Mapbox.io and Google Route API. The challenge of this implementation was trying to figure out how to create that trail that you see with the red dots on the map. And so we did that by first getting a starting point and an end point, which we then plugged into Google Routes API to create that trail. So those are the main features of our application. Thank you for your time, and we'll open it up to questions.
And that's our presentation. Any questions?
I have a couple. And I'm the lead instructor, so I get to go first. If you could start over today and rebuild it from scratch, throw everything away, trash the whole repo, what are maybe one or two big things that you would want to do different?
Would not have used Auth0 for authentication. That really complicated deployment because it requires an HTTPS. Auth0 blocks any HTTP URLs, so it made it much more complicated.
Gotcha. Yeah, that can be it can be a pain to get that far and then run into issues with deployments. Which is why we deploy early and deploy often to at least hopefully catch some of these things, but it's not always feasible, especially when you're standing up something so large, kind of for the first time. What was probably the easiest part? What went a lot smoother than you thought it would, or what kind of just snapped together? Or did anything kind of feel easy while doing this?
I mean, the audio player was kind of easy. We just got a bucket, pulled the files straight from the bucket, and that was like done probably first week and a half, and then it was just on to other things for me personally.
We got a question from chat. What's the hardest technical challenge you had to solve for this app that you were able to solve?
I think for me personally, it was getting the trailer route. I was hoping we could just find an API that would do it for us, like without having to combine different APIs. But we weren't able to do that, and so we came up with the solution of just finding two different endpoints and then creating that route.
Yeah, it's a recurring theme I see a lot is point A to point B can be kind of a pain to do. Directions are hard, dates are hard, computers aren't super good at those things. Or at least they don't talk like we talk. I think that's all the questions we've got. Thanks. Awesome. That was Happy Hiker. We're going to move on to the second group, which is junior dev jobs, and we'll have Sean present. Sean, go ahead.
You got it. All right. Junior dev jobs. So our team built an application that is one website that would collect information from other websites that host job postings and bring it to one specifically for the junior developer. It's kind of rough for someone to go to LinkedIn, to all these different job sites, Indeed and all that, and try to search through all this stuff. Whereas if you had one site that can pull it all in, it would make your life a whole lot easier. So our project scope that we want to do is, like I just said, make a one-stop shop to pull in all these entry-level position jobs, and then also provide some links for the job seeker to have some links to resume help, LinkedIn advice, and interview tips, as well as give the web application backend ability to save your last searches as well. So our team, you got me on the back end. I am a 20-year recently retired Navy vet. I will be retired here at the end of the month. I did explosive ordnance disposal for the last 20 years, and now I'm looking to make a career shift. Go ahead, Daniel.
And hi, I'm Danielle. I'm a 4-year Navy veteran. I was an aircraft mechanic. went medical science, and now I'm transitioning careers into software development. And I was part of the front end team. Go for it, Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan. I've been an educator for the past 7, almost 8 years. I first explored computer science with my students in 2018. We learned Ruby, and so ever since then, I've been dabbling in it. But now, as a military spouse, this was a great opportunity for me to delve more into it and explore. And I'm still figuring out my career trajectory, but I'm just really thankful for this group and just all the skills that I learned during our time together. All right, I'll pass it back to Sean.
All right. So let's get into our application. So here's our landing page. Pretty simple, kind of walks you through it a little bit. You don't have to be logged in to do a job search, but there are benefits, like I said before. If you log in, make an account and log in, then you're able to save your search, your last search. So next time you come in, you'll have your previous searches. And it just saves it to the backend database. And once you're logged in, then you can go down, you can manage your profile, which right now we just have update email and delete your profile if you don't want it anymore. And you can make a search. So we got pagination right here from the front end team. And with each little section item that you get, you got your job descriptions straight from the API, or you can go straight to where that information came from. So like this one's from Indeed. The resources, like I mentioned before, we got the resume resources. These are all just links to other sites that we found very helpful in our time here at Code Platoon. And then our About Us section, if you want to go and check out our LinkedIn or GitHub page, we're all in there. You just click on the link and it takes you to us, the developers of Junior Dev Jobs. It's a pretty simple site, but that's our site. So for collaboration, the software that we use VS Code Live Share when we were trying to work on features or problems together. We use Zoom, obviously, to collaborate, and Slack when we were not in the same Zoom meeting to message each other back and forth. We used GitHub in order to manage our version control for when we implement a feature to make sure everything works. And then we use Docker to create our images in order to help us out with the deployment process. And then if someone could also, Megan, you want to post in Zoom chat the link to our site? Cool. We did host it on an EC2 instance. So if you wanted to get on there and tool around with it, you could. For our front end, Danielle, you want to go ahead and talk about the front end a little?
For the front end, we focus on using React along with Material UI to build a modular, reusable components that made the application responsive and easy to maintain. We use JavaScript to manage the state and the dynamic behaviors of the application, and HTML and CSS for more static components like resource.
Right, and for the backend, we use Django, which is a Python-based library, and it uses we use the Postgres SQL in order to manage our database. Some of the third-party APIs, as you saw from that one link that we got, it came from Indeed. The way we were able to get that is by using Appify. And what Appify does is it has people that create these software programs and host them on Appify, and those are called actors. And those actors, for what ours did, is we hit that third-party API of the actor, and it went out and it got information from Indeed, brought it back to us, and we're able to store that into our database for use. We also used a background network server called Celery, and that is going to utilize Appify in order to re-up the database every month. So that way you're not just constantly using credits, which is what Appify uses in order to pay the people that made the software programs, basically. And then the other free API we have for our third party is Find Work. And Find Work is just anyone can host job listings on there. And then they have an API we were able to hit to get the majority of our listings. So some of the challenges we had, initially when we started, we had a good understanding of Django OAuth, the built-in library for Django for the authorization piece. Eunice was able to implement JSON Web Token, and we went with that route because we learned that JSON Web Token is stateless, so it helps make it a little more secure, so you're not saving the token in the database. And then we were able to create a web scraper of our own to be able to scrape other sites such as Glassdoor, utilizing a library called Playwright. But in that research, we found that the ethics behind it is not very moral, because a lot of these sites, they have terms and conditions. They don't want you to pull the data, even though it's public data and it's proven in court that it's legal to do. But they also have robot.txt files that say we would like you not to basically pull this specific information and HTML information off of our site. So even though we were able to make it, and it was kind of a pain to make it, we didn't implement it in the site because of those reasons. You want to talk about the AWS, Danielle?
Deploying to AWS was a struggle. We had to do it frequently to get it right, but the more we did it, the easier it got.
And lastly, we worked to incorporate AI with Azure Documentation Intelligence. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it off the ground, but I'm going to talk about that in our future goals. So our future goals, we would like to implement AI with Azure and allow the user to upload their resume as well as jobs that they're interested in, and be able to match the skills and keywords that they have in their resume with the job description, and hopefully output a sample cover letter. So when they go to apply for the jobs, they can leverage the experience that they already have. We'd like to implement this in the future. I'll pass it back to Sean.
All right, and that concludes our presentation. Thank you to our instructor team. They've been really awesome. It's been one of the more better experiences with the course that I've had in my life so far. Back to you, Jordan.
Thank you, guys.
Same question. If you ripped this up, threw it away, and had to do it again from scratch, what is something you would change? Or would you change anything? I know this group in particular got done pretty quick MVP, and then y'all kind of got to keep working with it. So y'all were in a good spot, but still, what would you do different?
Yeah, I mean, we had the benefit of having like someone who's kind of a senior programmer on that was going through the class, Eunice. She's in Taiwan doing her software development job right now. But I mean, if it was just us three, I probably would have connected the front end to the back end a little sooner, just so I can make sure things were working, because there were some headaches in terms of like the back end not working, and I had already like put dockerized the back end and like was making it work with Postman. But yeah, I would have just connected those endpoints a little sooner. Honestly, it probably would have been a little worse, less headaches.
We have a question from chat. How are the jobs ranked on the search, or are they ranked? How's the order work?
So it's not ranked. It's whatever the API responds back with in that JSON response, and that's how it's posted up there on the site. So first it'll grab everything from the JSON of Find Work API, and it'll grab everything from our database that has Indeed hits from that Appify actor, and then if it matches any of those, it puts it in that order basically. So all the Indeed stuff comes afterwards, and all the Find Work stuff comes up front because it hits that API first. So it's not ranked in terms of like, I don't know, front end to come first or anything. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not really ranked against each other. It just looks for specifics, like you saw the the like California and developer, and it looks for those specifics. And if it has that in the search, then it brings it back to you.
Excellent. Good. We're gonna go to the third and final group. I lost my slide because I got too many things open. Guys, I know the name of your app, but you changed it, and now I'm trying to remember what you changed it to. Hold on a second. Oh, Jordan. Technical errors, y'all.
Yeah.
Goodness. Let's go on to the third group, which is Cooking Cart. Tisdale, please take it away.
Get my screen shared. And just a heads up, I am a little sick. So I do have a cough drop in, and I will try to mute myself if I feel like I'm going to have an attack.
Welcome, Cooking Cart, everyone. I'm actually having a personal assistant for your weekly meals. Here, this is what Cooking Cart is all about. It's a full stack web development web app built to take the stress out of cooking for busy professionals who still want to eat well, from browsing handpicked recipes to generating smart categorized shopping lists. Everything's designed to make your meal planning simple, efficient, and even fun. Whether you're new to kitchen or just crunch for time, Cooking Cart helps you take control of your meals with ease and style. And next up, I would like to introduce to our teams. For backend, we have Mike.
Hi. Hi, I'm Mike. I'm on the back end team. I help to set up the on the user accounts. And I also help to ensure that we could save the recipe data on the back end. I also help to ensure that the logo is also in the email that the shopping list has, and I also help to include Google's Gemini AI in the code base. So, all right, Allison, off to you.
Thank you, Mike. My name is Allison Crofton. I'm a Army and Navy Reserve vet. On this project, I worked on the back end with Mike. My focus was mostly on developing the shopping cart functionality, which pulls the ingredients and quantities in a user friendly list, as well as implementing the email integration. Tisdale?
Hi, my name's Tisdale Frazier. I primarily worked on the front end of the application, including integrating the Meals DB API, which powers our recipe and shopping list features. I also helped with the UI layout and styling to make sure that the user experience feels smooth. And I worked with the team to make sure that the front end and the back end were communicating properly. Hamilton?
Hi, everyone. My name is Hamilton. I focus on the front end with Tisdale. I built the responsive navigation bar that works on both desktop and mobile. And I added a search bar so users could quickly find the meals and implement dark mode, and as well develop the sign up and login page that integrate with the backend. So these are the features that we want to bring clean UI design that will smooth out the function and making Cooking Cart both practical and enjoyable to use. And here's what you're all waiting for. Up next is demo brought to you by Tisdale.
Welcome to Cooking Cart. So the first thing you're going to do is log in or sign up. I don't currently have the login, so I'm going to go ahead and sign up. I'll enter my full name, email address, which will also be used as a username, as well as a password. So once you create a login, it will automatically take you to the home screen. You won't have to relog into your account. And it'll tell you a little bit about who Cooking Cart is, as well as give you some recipes that you can try. Up at the top, you're able to browse recipes by category, ingredient, or cuisine. We have our saved recipes up here and our shopping cart, which will both be empty at this time just because we haven't added anything to it. And if the brightness of the screen is something that you dislike, we also have the option to switch to dark mode, which I know is enjoyed by a lot of us. For now, we're going to go ahead and switch it back. We're also able to go to our account settings and view or change our email address, as well as our password. We also have the ability to completely delete our account if we wish to. So recently I watched Ratatouille with my kids and I was really interested in trying to make the dish. So I'm gonna go ahead and search for it under cuisine. It's a French cuisine. And we can look through these recipes to see if we can find it. There it is. So the recipe page gives us our ingredients as well as step-by-step instructions on how to complete the dish. I'm going to go ahead and save this recipe for later, as well as save the ingredients which will be added to my shopping cart. So I also want to make some kind of dessert to go with this, and I think a tart will pair really well, but I'm not really sure how to look for that. I guess I could go to dessert, but a faster way would be just to search for recipes. So I'm going to go ahead and type in tart in the search bar. And this will return all of the recipes that have the word tart in them. I'm going to go ahead and go with this apple tart. It looks very similar to Ratatouille, at least how it looks in the movie. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and save the recipe as well as the ingredients. So my mom's also coming into town in a couple days, and she's vegan, and I'd really like to make something sweet for her. So I'm going to go ahead and go to categories, and we'll search by vegan. So we don't have too many options, but this vegan chocolate cake is looking really good. Once again, we'll go ahead and save recipes, or save recipe as well as the ingredients. And lately I've been really craving bacon. So let's see what kind of recipes we have that have bacon in them. For that, we're going to go ahead and search by ingredient. Go ahead and find bacon. This is going to return all of the recipes that have bacon as an ingredient. A lot of these look really good, but we're going to go ahead and go with this bubble and squeak, which looks very similar to a quiche. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and save the recipe as well as the ingredients. From here, I can go to my saved recipes, and I'll be able to view all the recipes that I saved. I'm also able to go to my shopping cart, which has saved the ingredients for every recipe that I wanted it to. It has also done the calculation to add ingredients that have been on multiple recipes. For example, Ratatouille and the bubble and squeak recipe have 1 onion each. So on here, it's telling me I need to buy 2 onion. I'm going to go ahead and look over and see if there's anything I don't need on my list because I already have it in the kitchen. I already have sugar, so we'll go ahead and remove that. It's also telling me I need 4 tomatoes, but I already have 3. So I'm just going to have it tell me I need to buy 1 extra and save changes. Now I'm able to go up here and send to email. This will send a list of the ingredients that I need to buy to my email so I can reference that while I'm at the store. So while we're waiting for that to be sent to the email, I also want to show the mobile capability that we have. So if I'm at the store and I don't want to use my email, I can just reference the app, which will tell me all the ingredients I need. I'm also able to remove them as I pick them up. I can also go to my saved recipes while on my phone and reference each recipe while I'm in the kitchen making it, so I don't have to print it out or drag my computer in the kitchen. Okay, let's go ahead and check our inbox. And it looks like we have an email from Cooking Cart, which has given us all the ingredients that we need to buy for our recipe. It's also put them in categories so that we're able to find them more easily throughout the grocery store. So once I'm done shopping and picking up all the ingredients I need, I can go ahead and clear my list up at the top. And lastly, if I want to, I can go ahead and log out. And that will take me back to this login screen. Thank you so much for watching the demo for Cooking Cart. Happy cooking. Welcome to Cooking Cart. So the first thing you're going to do, now that you've seen Cooking Cart in action, let's take a look at behind the scenes of the technology that powers the app and made all those features possible.
All right. On the back end, we used the Django REST framework to build and manage the core logic, as well as the APIs with using PostgreSQL and also G Unicorn. Next.
For the front end, we use Vite with React and Material UI to build a responsive user interface. We also use Nginx for web proxy and web server and reverse proxy.
To enhance the functionality of our app, we integrated several APIs. The Meals DB API was used to pull in recipe data, which gave us the wide variety of meals for users to explore. To allow users to email their shopping list, we connected SendGrid through Twilio, making it easy to send the list directly to their inbox. And for a more polished branded look, we hosted our app's logo on Cloudinary and included it in the emails. And finally, we use Google's Gemini AI to categorize ingredients into sections like produce, spices, and dairy, just making it the shopping list much more organized and user-friendly while shopping. Some additional technology we used was Docker just to containerize the entire application, and we deployed it using AWS. And for collaboration, we used GitHub to manage our code base and handle version control. And we stayed connected and organized through Slack for team communication throughout the project. And now that you've seen the technologies we use to bring Cooking Cart to life, let's talk about the real learning moments, which is some of our challenges we each faced during the development process and how we worked through them.
For authentication password reset, I faced issues with how the front end wasn't recognize the back end with tokens. So that requires careful handling of token storage and lifecycle management. And for the password reset is mostly around, and I need to make sure that it secures the verifying users and handling new password submissions. And Sisto?
And a challenge I had was formatting the instructions for the recipe. Since the instructions came in a variety of formats, I had to account for just multiple scenarios in the code to ensure that the steps were displayed consistently and just in a uniformed manner. Email?
So for this one, the issue was to get the logo to appear once the user opened it up. The webmail providers, they have different tools that they use to look for spam. And so to resolve this, we had to use something that's known as a CDN. That's a content delivery network. And so That's just basically a site that hosts our logo. And after we did that, we were able to get it to appear in the email. Next.
Um, for me, one of the most technically challenging parts of this project was handling the parsing, converting, and adding of the measurements. These weren't always clean or consistent, and they included mixed fractions, as well as different measurement descriptions, such as a bunch of basil. To address these issues, I used regular expressions and data cleaning logic, along with libraries like pint and fractions, to transform these inconsistent values into usable data that our app is able to store, merge, and display reliably. And while these challenges pushed us to think creatively and improve our approach, they also helped us to see what our project could grow into. And this brings us to our stretch goals, the features and ideas that we are excited to explore in the future. First off is implementing a weekly meal planner, which would allow users to plan out their breakfast, lunch, and dinner using both saved and discovered recipes. From there, they could generate a complete shopping list with everything they need. And to make the shopping experience even more helpful, we would like to integrate real-time or AI generated price estimates based on the user's location. This would allow users to plan meals within their budget and see an estimated cost for their weekly grocery run. And finally, we would love to take a convenience even further by integrating with a service like DoorDash or Instacart. Users would be able to send their shopping list directly to a cart and schedule a delivery, turning meal planning into a seamless end-to-end experience. Now, we've really enjoyed building this app and overcoming the challenges along the way, applying the skills that we've gained during this boot camp to build a fully deployed full stack web application has been a rewarding experience. We would like to thank our instructors for sharing their time and expertise with our cohort over these past 6 months. They've not only taught us the technical skills that we need, but they've also set a powerful example of how to be skilled developers committed to helping others grow. This wraps up our presentation. We thank you so much for your time and attention this evening, and we'd love to open the floor now for any questions, feedback, or ideas that you might have.
Thanks a lot. We've got 3 questions, and some of them are curveballs. So it was noticed you divided and conquered the project. Some of you kind of stuck to the front end, and some of you stuck to the back end. One of the questions was if that's the way you split it up. Do you feel like you missed out on practice on certain aspects, kind of being lumped into just front or back end?
For me personally, I would say somewhat yes, but we tried to approach it as if we were at a company and divided it up into groups just to make it more real life experience of, we have this back end team and we have this front end team, and we need to figure out a way to collaborate together. So yeah, I can definitely see that. I think that we each kind of somewhat stuck to our strong points and ones that we're more interested in. But yeah, I can see that point. If anyone else has anything else to add.
No, I just thought you actually said where everything what I want to say as well.
I do think it's worth pointing out, this is not the only project, that we build in Golf Platoon. Every one of these students has also done an individual project very similar to this before we jumped into this. So everyone's built it from the ground up on all, at one point or another. So it does make sense to split the work up when you have a set amount of time, right? It'd be very difficult for everybody to get their fingers in everything. The project can move very slow. So this is pretty common. Had another question. This is from a prospective student on LinkedIn, and they're just curious. The question is, if I understand correctly, developers work closely with cybersecurity folks to ensure security is incorporated early. What best practices did you use to make their lives easy?
Well, for us, for our project, we only learned about like really simple stuff. So it's basically just getting a token generator, some sort of like OAuth or from Django. And then for like the password, we just like all we could do is just like cache it. So we only learn simple, but if you want to know more about authentication and password reset or password in general, then that's a whole different field in cybersecurity. I'm not sure what else to add.
No, that's a good answer, Hamilton. No, that's about what I would have said. There is only so much time, and there is a big old wide world of cybersecurity and how you can get better at cybersecurity and how you can help them out. And we do a little bit as far as we talk about authentication, we talk about tokens, where they should be, exposed. We talk about using environment variables to hide any kind of secret data you wouldn't want to get pushed up online. And honestly, even GitHub does pretty well protecting students from that. We had a group, I think it was this group, pushed up a token, and GitHub fires it back at you. But yeah, it is a big wide world that we talk about a little bit. Primarily, we're focused on web development. And that's something you'll just get better at the longer you're in it. We had one last question that came in. Can you explain how you used Cloudinary for the images and why you chose that technology?
Cloudinary. Well, it boiled down to using that because in order for it to be rendered in the email so it could show up, it needed to come from a known trusted source. And so without that, the other ways that it could be used to embed the logo, those other ways would be rejected, or one would need to add another trusted network source within the app itself. And so the easiest solution is to go to a third party site that's a trusted source and allow that to be hosted. So that's how that came about.
I'm going to allow one last question because I think it's a good question because it talks about the program. How often did you guys meet up to synchronize efforts? And did you feel at any point that you were getting out of scope from the initial project agreement?
We met up obviously in class. There wasn't any kind of outside of class really checking in aside from a little bit on Slack. I would say was a very big stickler of like Mike, I think has a lot of more experience than at least me. And so he would have all these great ideas and these great like what if things. And I was a big stickler of like, let's reel this back in. Let's get our MVP. And then with whatever time we have left, we'll tackle these other things. So I personally think that our group specifically worked really well together with what we brought to the table, and between our personalities and background, I was really happy with how we collaborated.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I know with Team 3, it was kind of the same thing. Like Tisdale was saying, we met up on our class days, and then if there was something that was like we were just going late and it was getting 10 o'clock at night, or whatever it was, and we're just like beating our heads against the wall, more often than not, I'd be like, hey, let's just leave it here and we'll come back to it the next day, and then sometimes that next day I would just message them and be like, I've got the answer. I think I got the answer. I'm gonna take a stab at it. And they were like, yeah, go for it. So as long as we just communicated really well, honestly. And like Tisdale said, once again, our team 3, stayed to the minimal viable product. And then after we got that out and that was working, then it was like, okay, let's pitch whatever other features we have, or do you guys have any other ideas? And from there, we grew it one feature at a time, so to speak.
Awesome. Happy Hiker Group, do you want to field that question as well? You don't have to, but you can.
When we initially did our elevator pitch, we were thinking of features. We had grand ideas, and when it came time to actually start doing the work, we did a Moscow board, and we're like, "What's MVP?" And that kind of reeled us into our scope of what we actually wanted to accomplish. And then, of course, we had our stretch goals. And as far as working together, we did our class time like all the other ones, and we probably abused Slack a lot because people would work on things on their own time and just shoot like, "Hey, I got this, I'm pushing it," or vice versa and stuff like that. So
Yep, that's how it goes. It's always so many different features you want. It's all very exciting at the beginning, and things just take time, and things take longer than you think they're going to take. And that's the way it'll be for your entire career. Generally, it's very difficult to gauge how much work you can get done and when, and what's going to be easy and what's going to be hard. That's why I like asking questions like, where would you start over? It's a very common work practice to build something and completely flush it down the toilet and restart. Wonderful. Okay. I think Tisdale, can you? There we go. Awesome. Uh, okay. Oh no. All right. Great. Good job, everybody. All 3 of these projects. Excellent. Very proud of them. You all should be proud of them. Think about where you were week 1. And can you imagine doing that today, or could you imagine being here then? There's a lot of stuff you learn real fast, and you have to apply, and you should be proud of it. Even if you didn't get all the features you wanted, even if you didn't get some things working quite the way you wanted, even if it's nothing like, what you thought you would do, or maybe it turned out good. You should be proud of yourself, and don't discount, that this is not something you can just teach yourself easily over the weekend and just figure it out, right? It takes a while. I want to go ahead and thank our TAs. They're not in here, but they're probably watching. We have Nor and Phyllis. They were a lot of help. They were a lot of help for me, and I definitely appreciated them. I think we're just gonna go on to any closing remarks. If any instructors would like to say something, now's your chance.
I'll go real quick. First of all, evening everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you all. Jordan already took most of my remarks, unfortunately, because we didn't sync up beforehand. So it's time for me to come up with some new ones. Look, I bored you all for the past 6 months, 7 months with my rambles about the importance of pseudocoding, live sharing, why you guys need to talk together in your teams, the importance of teamwork, storyboarding. You guys have heard all that. I could give you all of that again. However, I don't think anyone would really appreciate that. And I don't want to give it to you guys right now because the next cohort of folks in a hotel are listening in and I need to give them those separate. So instead, I'd like to encourage everyone to do a little retro. Now, this is not going to be the retro where we nominate a line leader and then everyone writes it down. That's boring, and you guys have done enough of that, and will continue to do more than enough of that going forward. Think back to where you guys were in weeks 1 and 2, where you were all still learning how to go through the Git flow, where command line was still weird, and where debugging skills were non-existent. Look at where you guys are now. In the past 20 odd weeks, you guys have not just built an application from scratch. You guys have built multiple. You've done your group project, your personal project, the AI related projects, the main course evaluation projects, and so many more. It's crazy. Like, even as an instructor, it always amazes me just how much you guys achieve in such a short amount of time. And not just that, I mean, ChatGPT can also write code for you, as we've all had experience with. However, can ChatGPT explain its code? No. Does it usually do a not great job of writing code? Also, no. You guys have developed the skills to not just analyze a problem, but to analyze a problem as a software engineer. Break it down from its high level requirements into something that is, I'm going to use the word, like English, which then transitions to pseudocode. And okay, I'll stop that now. But you guys know how to translate an ordinary problem like, oh, hey, how do we, take a recipe finding thing that I'll take half an hour to do and turn it into a web app? Bam. How do I, look at hiking trips? Bam. Web app. This sort of the methodology that you guys have developed, the mindset that you've developed, is something very unique to you guys. And I want to congratulate you all on having been able to develop this problem solving mindset. Because knowing Python, knowing JavaScript, knowing Git is great. But if you don't know how to apply those tools to a specific problem and know in what way you're going to use them, it's a bit silly. So the real biggest takeaway is not the array of languages or the certification that you'll get, but it's the mindset of problem solving and continuing to learn that you guys had starting in week 1 and have honed for the past umpteen weeks and will continue to do going forward. So don't be strangers. Stay in touch. Again, the Co-Platoon family of us instructors, TAs, support staff, and your entire alumni network, which you guys are going to be joining very soon, is here to support. So sincerely, you guys have been absolutely amazing cohort. Thank you guys so much for sticking with it for this as long as you guys have. And yeah, back over to Jordan.
Thanks, man. Let's finish this off. All right. We'll just do this bit here. Oh, there's one more thing. This is the instructional team. This is 4 of us. Julius was here for a little bit, but he's got his own thing going on. So thank you guys, by the way. This is a good team. I like working with y'all. I appreciate your help. And I think the students appreciate you as well. That's it. Graduating students. I'm just going to say congratulations and go through your names. Here we go. Justin, Allison, Isdale, Kim, Danielle, Megan, Eunice, Mike, Gizem, Sean, Daryl, Jonathan, and Hamilton. Congratulations, Golf Platoon. It's been real. That concludes our ceremony for today. Thank you all for participating. Thank you all for checking in. We appreciate it.